Hey, welcome back. I want to start today with something that's happening at my institution, and I'm betting some version of this is happening at yours too. We have been given a directive to extend Agile across the university. This means getting more people, teams, and departments adopting Agile, which is fantastic. It also means that as an institution, we can tackle bigger initiatives with greater flexibility. Also fantastic. But we have a problem, and we aren't set up with multiple Agile experts or Agile delivery leads, and we need to figure out how we're going to scale Agile with existing staff. That conversation is exactly where this video starts. By the end of this video, you will know what SAFe is, why organizations like universities actually need it, and what it looks like in practice. Now, this is part one of a two-part series. We're keeping it high level today, but in part two, we'll go deeper into the mechanics. So, let's jump in. So, let's start with the problem of scaling Agile. And let's paint a picture that I think a lot of you will recognize. And I think we all know that Agile works. It works great at the team level, and it works really well. You've got a small team, a focused backlog, and 2-week sprints with regular retrospectives. Things move along and people are aligned and you ship your thing. Now try scaling that up. Imagine you're trying to replace your student information system. You've got IT teams, the registrar's office, financial aid, student affairs, institutional research, and the vendor involved. Now each group will have their own priorities, and each group has their own definition of done. And nobody has a shared map of what's going on, when and why. Or maybe it's a digital transformation initiative, or a new enrollment management platform, or a strategy plan that touches every division on campus. The specific project doesn't matter. The problem is always the same. Your teams are working, and they're busy, but nobody is quite sure whether all of that work is adding up to something coherent. So here's what the scaling problem looks like in practice. You might have a couple teams building components that don't integrate well because they made different assumptions or have different deliverables. Or leadership can't get a clear picture of progress without polling each team separately. Or decisions are made in one department that create blockers for 3 others, sometimes weeks or months later. Or a strategic goal stays abstract while the day-to-day work continues to disconnect from it. And here's the problem, that standard Agile, Scrum, Kanban, whatever you're running at the team level, it's not going to solve for this. It was designed for one team to deliver one thing. The moment that you need 10 teams delivering parts of the same thing, that's when you need something more. So that something more is what SAFe was built to provide. So let's take a look at what SAFe actually is. So SAFe stands for the Scaled Agile Framework. It's a set of organizational practices and roles designed to help large organizations apply Agile principles across many teams all at once, without losing the things that make Agile valuable in the first place, though. It was created by a consultant by the name of Dean Leffingwell and first published in 2011. Now the current version is all the way up at 6.0. It was released in 2023, and it's being used by organizations like Cisco and Boeing and AT&T and Lego and thousands of other organizations all across the world. Now, I bet you're thinking that this is just another massive, top-down, bureaucratic-heavy system. How else would you manage a thing like this at scale? But it isn't. As a matter of fact, SAFe is not Agile with more meetings. It's not a corporate wrapper that strips away flexibility. When it's done well, it's a coordination system. Think of it as air traffic control for your Agile teams. The planes, or your teams, still fly. They still navigate. They're still going to deliver their work. But SAFe makes it so that they're all coordinating with one another, and they're not all trying to land on the same runway at the same time. Now, there are 3 things that SAFe does well. The first one is that it gives every team a shared calendar. This is one planning cycle that everyone runs on together. 2 is that it creates a shared map so everyone knows where their work connects with the larger goal. And 3 is that it builds a regular moment for the whole group to do a retro, not just the individual teams. Now, SAFE comes in different configurations, depending on how large and complex your organization is. For our example with a university, just starting to think about this, the relevant version is called Essential SAFE. That's the foundation layer. And that's what we're going to talk about here today. And I bet you that there's someone out there asking this question, we're a university, we're not Boeing. Why would we need an enterprise agile framework? And it's a fair question. And there's an honest answer to this. Universities are extraordinarily complex organizations, and you have dozens of semi-autonomous departments. In a lot of cases, you have shared services that span the entire institution. You have technology systems that touch nearly every function, whether they're academic, administrative, and student-facing, and you have governance structures that require broad buy-in before anything significant can change. So what that means in practice, though, is that any initiative of real consequence at a university, like a system replacement or a strategic plan, a new student experience initiative, they all require sustained coordination across multiple teams that don't normally work together. And that's exactly the problem that SAFE is designed to solve. Now, here are some real higher ed initiatives that SAFE could apply, like maybe a student information system replacement or upgrade. Think Banner or Workday. Or an ERP implementation that's going to touch finance, HR, and operations. You might have digital transformation initiatives that span IT and marketing and academic affairs. You might have strategic enrollment management platforms involving admissions, financial aid, and the registrar's office. You might also have academic technology rollouts requiring coordination across IT and every school or college. In each of these, you have the same problem. You have multiple teams, multiple stakeholders, and one shared outcome. SAFE gives you the structure to organize all of that work without creating a shadow government over every department. So here's what SAFE is going to look like in practice for you. So let's take a look at a concrete example. Again, we're going to use the university context since that's kind of what we're focusing on here in this video. So imagine that a university is replacing the student portal. The goal is to have one unified digital experience for students. That means registration, financial aid, advising, housing, they're all in one place. This is a multi-year initiative involving the IT, registrar, financial aid, student affairs, and the vendor. Now, without a coordination framework, here's typically what happens. Each department works on their piece independently. Decisions get made in silos, and integration issues end up surfacing late. The timeline ends up slipping, and when it finally does launch, it's not quite at all what anyone imagined because no one had the full picture throughout the entire journey. With SAFE, though, you'd organize these teams into what's called an Agile Release Train, or ART. Think of it as a team of teams. All the groups involved in this initiative running on the same planning schedule with the shared goals and with a clear map of dependencies. And every 10 weeks, that group, which includes all those teams, stakeholders, IT leadership, the provost's office, representative, they all come together for a 2-day planning session, and they lay out what gets built in the next cycle, identify where teams might end up stepping on one another, and they commit to a shared set of goals. Then they go and build it. 10 weeks later, they show what they've built, then they reflect on how to do better next time. And then they go and do that again for the next 10 weeks. If it sounds familiar, it's because it is. It literally is your agile release plan scaled up. And that rhythm, that plan, that build, that demonstrate, that improve is the heartbeat of SAFE, just like it's the heartbeat of Agile. And it's what keeps a complex multi-team initiative on track without requiring a command and control management structure. Now, I know a 2-day planning session sounds like a lot, and it is, but the alternative is weeks of misalignment, rework, and emergency meetings. Organizations that have run this kind of cross-functional planning consistently report fewer surprises and faster delivery every time. So if what you're doing now is not working, give this a go. You literally have nothing to lose. And here's what I hope that you walk away with from this video. That SAFE is not just for Boeing or AT&T, it's for any organization managing complex multi-team work toward a shared goal. And universities are exactly that kind of organization, and the fact that most of us aren't talking about SAFe yet isn't because it doesn't apply. It's because people don't know what they don't know. But now you do, and you can be the one who leads the charge to make a difference in enterprise agility in your organization. Now in part 2, we're going to go deeper. We're going to take a look at some specific components that make SAFe work and how to actually get started and what the honest trade-offs are, because there are. Now, if you want the full picture, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified when the next video comes out. And drop a comment below. I'd genuinely love to hear from you. Is your institution having that scaling conversation yet? And what's the initiative that's making you think about it? Hey, I really appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in part 2.